it hurts because I picked the guy. I picked the wrong guy. And there's a lot more to this. A lot more to it. There's this business of me sending him a resignation letter. That is not the truth at all. I never sent him a resignation letter. What happened was, after the season, he told me he didn't want Rob Ryan. I said, we're going to keep him. You got 24 coaches. I think we got 24 coaches. Now, whether you want to believe it, I mean, you can question it. Maybe we got 22 and they say someone's not a real coach. But it's almost unheard of. 24 coaches. I didn't want to coach or change the entire defensive staff and bring in his father. He said, well, I can't win with this guy. I can't win with this team. And we had the problem with Jamarcus. And someday, I don't think it's important now because I love the guy. He had Jamarcus all wrong. He had him all wrong in his thinking about him. And Jamarcus has proved a lot of you wrong, a lot of people wrong. He was going to be the overweight guy. He was going to be the uninterested guy. And he was never that way. He was always, we had a player here who played in Alabama high school, the same high school as Jamarcus, and was telling me about Jamarcus when Jamarcus was 12 years old. We had a player here who was a great player at Tennessee when they won the national championship, T. Martin, a quarterback, and he played at the same high school as Jamarcus, so I knew Jamarcus wasn't that kind of kid. But he said, we can't win. We got to get a rookie quarterback win. We can't win with this. And so I said to him, what do you mean you can't win? And he said, well, we can't win. And I said, then do the honorable thing. If you don't think you can win, resign. If you don't think you can win, resign. I don't know what you're talking about. So he was after a job in college that he didn't get, and it's amazing how Bobby Pedrino took the job. They had called me. He didn't realize they had called me. A friend of mine who's very big at the University of Arkansas called me and said, they're interested in Lane Kiffin. What do you think? I said, let him finish the season and do what you want, whatever he wants. Finish the season. They said, okay, we'll wait. However, Pedrino had a chance to get the job, and that's why he really left Atlanta sooner than the season was over, because he wanted to beat Lane for the job. Lane was upset as hell about it and went after some other job. And Lane said to me this, will you let me go and not ask for any penalties if I leave and go to a college job or go to another job? I said, Lane, if you say you're not going to get paid, if you're going to resign, I certainly will let you go right after the season. His attorney, Uberstein, and our attorney, Jeff Beeren, worked out the language, and it was about a quarter of a page. And all it says was, Lane Kiffin resigns his job as the Oakland Raiders, expecting no remuneration, or is it remuneration, and the Raiders will take no action to stop him from taking another job based on his contract. That was the story of what he called, supposedly, he's got Mortensen. Mortensen comes, rolls. He's a professional. He lies. He's a professional liar. And he got Mortensen to say that I sent him a letter, which I never did, and a lot of you carried the fact that I sent him a letter. So what I'm saying to you is that this is regretful, but I thought it was best for the Raiders. And I wanted to make it work because I want the Raiders to do great. Someone said to me the other day, a newspaper man, why don't you tell us your side of the story? Why don't you tell us what's happening? And I said to him, look, I don't want to win in the press. I want to win on the field. But I'm telling you because I had to regretfully let him go. And it's based on cause, and it's not based on necessarily performance, because I understand what we're doing, although I think we can do better. I assume there's a lot more. What I wanted to say is we signed D'Angelo Hall, Jabril Wilson, Kalimba Edwards, Tommy Kelly, Javon Walker, Quayme Harris, Justin Fargas, Darren McFadden. They were the high-priced people this year. Not everyone has been a factor, but you got to stick with players. I remember last year, all during training camp, and it was tough on me because I didn't want to do it. We traded Randy Moss for a fourth-round draft choice. Randy Moss for a fourth-round draft choice. And everyone here, the coaches look at the film, his foot was bothering him around the country, that he can't run anymore. Well, I had seen him. I go to practice. I had seen him run. They talk now, boy, if we had a playmaker. Well, all he caught was over 20 touchdowns last year if we had a playmaker. But those are the facts of life. We've had some great players come through here. In 2003, 2004, Rich Gannon went down with knee injuries. We let Kerry Collins go. He's driving Tennessee pretty good right now. And we'll get back. We'll be back. The Raiders will be back. That's I have unshakable confidence, the will to win, and I just know that the fire that burns brightest in this building is the will to win, and we will win. We will win. Yeah.
For the rest of the questions, and please raise your hand, be acknowledged, and identify yourself also.
David White, Chronicle. Who will be the next head coach, Mr. Davis?
I thought what we would do is go through the question and answer and take a little break, and then we'll bring them down.
You described problems you had with Lane at the end of last.
I beg your pardon.
At the end of last year, you said
Yes.
there were some problems with Lane, and went on February, March. Why not fire him in the off season as opposed to this point of the year when it's going to kind of disrupt the season?
Because I wanted to make it work, to be real honest. It's my belief that it would work and it could work, and I wanted to make it work. Maybe I didn't want to admit that that I'd made a mistake. And to be quite frank with you, I'm firing him for cause now. I'm not firing him for anything else other than cause.
Hi, Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press, Democrat.
Hi.
Your motto is just win, baby, one of your mottos. You're saying you're firing Lane more for cause than for on-field performance. Do you feel the team has improved under his watch? And doesn't that motto, just win, sort of imply that you will overlook personality traits and past history if it can produce a winning team on the field?
I don't really follow. I want to win, if that's what you're asking me. I don't know what you meant by the back part of the question, that I will follow personality traits. What did you mean by that?
Would you have won with Lane Kiffin? And if you think you might have, why would you fire him over a personality conflict?
Well, it's not a personality conflict. It's flat-out accusation, lying, bringing disgrace to the organization. He took a young coach who had criticized him and suspended him. Didn't tell me about it. Then actually crazy-like said, you better go to a doctor to get examined. And suspended him. He was the best worker he had. He told me that repeatedly. But the coach criticized him. But then 2 days later, he goes out and criticizes Rob Ryan publicly. No, I don't think necessarily I didn't think I could lose necessarily with Lane, but I didn't think I can win anymore based on what he's done to the staff and what he's done to the defense and what he's done to some of the assistants. If I thought so, I probably would have stayed with it. But it had nothing to do with winning. It had to do with personality. It's the first time I've ever let anyone go based on what I call just a flat-out liar.